In this series of videos, we're going to be taking a look at the information that's contained in Excel Unit C, which is entitled Formatting a Worksheet. Because you can use formatting features to make a worksheet more attractive or easier to read, and to emphasize key data. You can apply different formatting attributes such as color, font styles, and font sizes to the cell contents. You can adjust column width and row height, and you can insert or delete columns and rows. You can also apply conditional formatting so that cells meeting certain criteria are formatted differently. This makes it easy to emphasize selected information, such as cells that exceed or fall below certain thresholds. Our objective for this unit that we're going to be taking a look at is first of all to format values. Then we're going to be changing the font and font size, changing attributes and alignments, adjusting column width, inserting and deleting rows and columns, applying colors, patterns, and borders, applying conditional formatting, naming and moving a sheet, and spell checking. The first little bit that we're going to take a look at is going to be located on page Excel 52, which we're going to be formatting values. So you'll need to go ahead and open up the ext1 file from Course Sites on here, and you need to go ahead and do a save as, and we're going to save this into your documents or into your home directory, and we want to save this as QST Advertising Expenses. And click on Save. Now, the format of a cell determines how the labels and values look. For an example, whether the contents appear boldface, italicized, or with dollar signs and commas. Formatting changes only the appearance of a value or label. It does not alter the actual data in any way. To format a cell or a range, you first select it, then you apply the formatting using the ribbon or the keyboard shortcut. And you can apply formatting before or after you enter data in a cell or range. And of course, here we have our file, and you notice that this is a little bit of a larger file than what we've been working with before. And what we're going to do is we're going to finish off step one, because step one is to download this file and to name it QST Advertising Expenses. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to change the view of this. So we're going to click on our View tab, and then we're going to click on the Page Layout. So we're going to use the Page Layout here, and we notice that this information is technically on 2 pages. And this is going to make it easier to see that when we print this out, what it's going to look like. Now, step 2 tells us that we're going to select the range E4. So here we have E4. And we're going to select all the way down to E32. So we're selecting this column of data right here. Not the entire column, just the selected information, just the numbers. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click on our Home tab, then go to our number group here, and we're going to click on the dollar sign, which in this one is called the account or accounting number format. And when we click on that, notice that it changes the format on there. Earlier it was just numbers. Now this is represented with a dollar sign in front, and the rest of it is written in currency format. So it has 2 places past the decimal on there as well. And of course the default accounting number format adds dollar signs and of course the 2 decimal places to the data. Formatting this data in accounting format makes it easier to recognize. Excel automatically resizes the column to display the new formatting. The accounting and currency formats are both used for monetary values or money values, but the accounting format aligns currency symbols and decimal points in a column so that we can see that everything is all lined up properly on there. Step 3 tells us that we're going to select the range G4, and we're going to go down to I32. So we're going to select these 3 columns of numbers right here. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go back up to our number group here, and we're going to click on the comma style button, and it just looks like a comma there. And of course now it tells us that the values in the columns G, H, and I display the comma style format, which does not include a dollar sign, but can be useful for some types of accounting data, because you don't always have to have the dollar sign there. Sometimes you do, and when you do, you want to use the accounting style. When you don't, you can use the comma style. Next, on step 4, it tells us that we want to select the range J4, and we want to go down to J32. So we select this information right here, and now it tells us that we want to click the number format list arrow. And right now it says general, and that is our default numbering format. But when we click on that, notice that we have the different formats. There's number, currency, accounting, short date, long date, time, percentage, fraction, scientific, text. So we have all those different areas there. But we want to click on percentage. And of course now we have all these numbers written as a percent. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to use these buttons right here, or one of these buttons right here. And this is the increased decimal and the decreased decimal. And the increased decimal is going to make more decimal places appear to the right of the decimal. If we click on this one over here, it's going to decrease the amount of places past the decimal that we see. And of course it will use rounding functions to make sure that the number has been rounded. And we're going to click on the increased decimal button here, and we'll notice that we now have 3 places past the decimal point on there as well. And of course the data in the percent of total column is now formatted with a percent sign and 3 decimal places. The format list arrow lets you choose from popular formats and shows examples of what the selected cell or cells would look like in each format. When multiple cells are selected, the example is based on the first cell in the range. So when we were taking a look at that on there, we see that the first cell in the range on there would be 0.67. And so that we see that there's our percentage right there and what it would look like. And every other one of these is what it would look like if we would select that number format. Now each time you click the increase decimal button, you add 1 decimal place. Clicking the button twice would add 2 decimal places, and 3, and so on as well. Step 5 tells us we're going to click on the decrease decimal button because we want to have just 2 places past the decimal on there. So we have on there, we're going to click that twice actually. So there's the first time and there's the second time. And notice that it is rounded appropriately. And so 2 decimal places are now removed, leaving just 1 place past the decimal. Step 6 tells us that we want to select the range B4 to B31. So we're selecting this range right here, B4 to B31. And we're going to click this time on the launcher in the number groups. And remember, the launchers are always in the lower right-hand side of the group. We click on that, and this is going to bring up the Format Cells dialog box. And of course, it's going to open with the date category already selected in the number tab because it recognizes that that is a date. So next what we're going to do is we're going to change the format of this, and it tells us that we want to select the first 14 March 01. So we're going to choose this format right here. And once we have that, we're going to click on OK. And of course the dates in column appear in the 14 March 01 format. Of course the second one, which was underneath that on there, it would in the list display would display all the days in 2 digits. So if it was a single digit day, such as 1st of February or February 1, it would have it as 01 on there. Of course, while you choose display single digit days without a leading 0, that's the ones that we chose right here. You can also open the Format Cells dialog box by right-clicking a selected range. So if we click here, notice there's the Format Cells there as well. And of course, and there is the 2 different 14 March 01 on there, and it's just selecting the if you want to have a 2-digit date for single-digit days, such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 on there, versus a single digit, which is what we have. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to click on there. We're going to select range C4 to C31. So we're selecting this other range of dates that's on there. And of course, we're going to right-click this. And this is where we're going to go to our format cells, just like we were looking at just a second ago. And on this one, it tells us that we just want to select the 14 March, and which in this case, it's going to give us the month as a three-letter abbreviation, and then the day of the month on there. So when we select the 14 Mar, we're going to click on OK, and you'll notice that all the dates have been changed in their formatting. Of course, now you can press your Control and Home keys to go all the way back up to the top of the spreadsheet and save your work. Now, of course, you can also format your information as a table as well, and we won't do that at this moment in time. But Excel actually includes 60 predefined table styles to make it easy for you to format your selected worksheet cells as a table on there. And of course, you can apply the table styles to any range of cells that you want to format quickly, or even into an entire worksheet. But they're especially useful for those ranges with labels in the left column and the top row, the totals in the bottom row, or even in the right column. And of course, to apply a table style, you just select the data to be formatted or click anywhere within the intended range. Of course, Excel can automatically detect that range of cells. And then, of course, you want to click on Format as Table button in the Styles group on the Home tab. And of course, so here we have our Home tab, and we can click right here on Format as Table, and here's all these predefined tables styles that we can choose from. We're not going to do that at this time on there. Of course, it does use live preview, so you could take a look on there when you have the selected ranges on there as well. Of course, once you have formatted the range as a table, you have to do that first, then you actually get the live preview to where you can see where it's at. It's not going to do that at this time because we have not formatted this as a table. Well, that concludes the information that is on pages Excel 52 and 53. You're ready to move on to the next video, which is entitled Changing Font and Font Size.